3.8 The Brain and Spinal Cord. Brain functions involve the activation of neural pathways that link different brain structures. However, the best way to think of the brain is as an integrated system. When we study the brain and brain structures, this can be the toughest case to crack. In the early 1800s, Franz Gall developed Phrenology, which was based on the idea that specific skull locations were associated with various personality characteristics, moral character, and intelligence. Although later shown to be a pseudoscience, Phrenology triggered scientific interest and the possibility of cortical localization, or localization of function, the idea that specific psychological and mental functions are localized in specific brain areas. In case studies, researchers systematically observe and record the behavior of people whose brains have been damaged by illness or injury, or the brains of those with extraordinary talents. Such case studies, however, have limitations. Case studies usually focus on an unusual situation or behaviors and may not reflect typical behavior. Brain injuries are rarely limited to specific localized areas, making it difficult to pinpoint which brain area is responsible for specific behavioral problems. Many brain areas are linked to other brain areas, so damage in one area may also disrupt functioning in another, otherwise normal area. Another research method involves producing lesions, surgically altering, removing, or destroying specific portions of the brain and observing subsequent behavior. Researchers have also implanted tiny electrified disc or wires called bipolar electrodes to study the behavioral effects of electrically stimulating specific brain areas. Researchers also use the Electrencephalograph, an instrument in which electrodes are placed on the scalp to record the brain's electrical activity. The graphic record is called an electroencephalogram, or EEG. Modern electroencephalographs provide sophisticated computerized analysis of the brain's electrical activities. Brain imaging techniques are used by cognitive neuroscientists for both descriptive and experimental research. Cognitive neuroscience is the study of the neural basis of cognitive processes that integrates contributions from psychology, neuroscience, and computer science. Studies using brain imaging technology have several limitations. One, because of limited availability and high cost, studies involve small groups of subjects. Two, most studies involve simple aspects of behavior. Three, knowing what brain area is involved may tell researchers little about the psychological process being investigated. Positron emission tomography, the PET scan, generates images of the brain's activity by tracking the brain's use of radioactively tagged compounds that have been injected into the bloodstream. Magnetic resonance imaging, the MRI, uses electrical signals generated by the brain in response to magnetic fields to produce highly detailed images of the brain structure. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, uses magnetic fields to track changes in blood flow and oxygen levels in the brain. It provides a picture of brain activity averaged over seconds rather than the several minutes required by PET scans. When examining brain scans, read the descriptions carefully, compare the control and treatment scans, and keep the limitations of the technology in mind.